Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Fall is in the air and there can be a lot of activity with summer coming to an end, school starting up. Maybe you are just absolutely slammed with activities now that your kids are back in school. Plus budgets might be tight, buying all the back to school supplies and new clothes. There are a lot of expenses that happen in the fall. I've been going through the food in my prepper pantry and my long-term food storage and looking over some of my canned and packaged foods that need to be rotated. It's time to pull them out and make some don't starve meals. Whether you're low on cash, you need to rotate the food, you just don't have time to do or prepare anything, you don't want to just drive through and spend more money on fast food. Here are a few meal ideas of what I'm going to be preparing in the next few days so that I have some don't starve meals. I can eat the foods that I have in my pantry, rotate, and then replace those foods so that I can make those meals again. If they're meals I don't want to repeat, I can always then replace those with different foods that I do want to eat in the future. So my first go-to is my Crockpot Spaghetti. I start with a jar of sauce and a 1/2 package of pasta noodles. First I spray the crockpot so nothing sticks, break up the noodles into about thirds, and then pour the sauce over it. Then to make sure that there's enough liquid, I fill the jar, maybe a fourth full, shake it all around to get all of the extra sauce out, and pour it around the edge of the crock pot. Set it on high, and in 2 hours, a delicious spaghetti dinner is already done. I didn't have to do any cooking. There's no pots and pans. Just rinse out the crock pot and stick it in the dishwasher. Dinner is served. If you have some lovely Parmesan cheese, sprinkle that over. It makes it even more delicious. Look in your pantry. Do you have some spaghetti sauce and pasta noodles? You can try this very simple crockpot spaghetti and get those foods rotated, a meal on the table. It doesn't cost you any more. The food's already in your pantry, so pull out a few items and make an easy meal. During the pandemic, when it was hard to find soups that you might enjoy, I went ahead and stocked up on some of the soups that I thought sounded good. One of them is the light Progresso chicken pot pie. Now, I was quite disappointed in this soup because it was pretty watery, didn't have much flavor. There wasn't much filling about it to make a nice meal. If you were on a diet, it would be perfect because there's only about 200 calories in the whole can. But I was looking for a way to make it a tastier, more filling meal. So along with this can, I'm adding a can of cream of chicken soup. I can stir the two soups together. It's going to be a lot creamier, more flavorful, and then I can serve it over some instant mashed potatoes. With 3 ingredients, I can have a meal on the table with very little effort and no more added expense because I already have these foods in my pantry. Maybe you have some foods like this, and that would be a meal that you could make. Something with soup, pour it over something like rice, pasta, or mashed potatoes, and you can have a meal in no time. Look in your prepper pantry. Do you have some cans of meat? Maybe you have some of the Keystone ground beef. I don't have very much of this simply because it hasn't been available in Alaska, but I was able to order it on Amazon quite a while ago. Maybe you have some ground beef in your freezer or you can some yourself. Look into your pantry. Do you have a can of manwich sauce? The manwich is pretty tasty. It goes nicely right over the beef. And if you don't have buns, boil up some spaghetti noodles and serve it over that. You could also put it together with some instant mashed potatoes. I don't know how good it would be with rice, but you could always try it if that's what you have. So do you see how easy it is to just take a few things? They don't have to necessarily go together the way they were designed. You can be creative. You may find that you make a new family favorite meal. You at least have a meal. And remember, every meal you make isn't going to be the best, most delicious, spectacular meal ever, but we have something to eat, keeps us going until next time. Something I actually do enjoy eating, and I make it out of my prepper pantry whenever I feel like it, is I take a can of mini ravioli and a can of the Progresso vegetable soup. I pour the 2 cans together, heat them up, and I think it's a very delicious filling soup. The ravioli soup is something that I enjoy, and so I make it occasionally. So these are foods that I'm happy to use, rotate, and then replace so that I can make that same soup again with no effort. Along with the fall comes colder weather. We're spending more time maybe in the kitchen doing a lot more cooking, and maybe as your kids get older you're teaching them a little bit more about cooking as well. So something that I highly recommend that I have purchased in the last year, something I highly recommend is the fire blanket. These are made out of like a fiberglass coating on a big old blanket. Have this in your kitchen, then you open it up, you fold out the blanket, and you can toss it over your stove if you've set something on fire. I also keep one out at Granny Camp for my off-grid cooking with my little butane stove, and I have them at my outdoor grill so that should there ever be a fire, I can put it out. My son warned me not to open it up and check it out because it has fiberglass fibers all through it, and if you open it up they'll go all over the place, which is a big mess to clean up. And that's how you know that these actually are going to work, because the fiberglass is what extinguishes the flames. So go ahead and get one of these, put it by your stove. As you're teaching your kids how to cook, make sure you teach them also about safety and what to do if there should be an accidental fire in the kitchen. Let us know, what are some of your Don't Starve menu ideas that we can learn from each other so we can make it through the busy days, use up the things that we have, and know that we can face whatever the challenges are that come our way in the future. I hope you like my video. Share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel. Good. Oh man, it's so good and it's so easy.